All right. Hello, hello. I'm really, really excited to chat to you all today. I'm going to be talking to you about consent in AI data. And that sounds really, really specific. But first, we're going to, let me introduce myself. Hey, I'm Jess. I get to work with the Common Voice team, and we'll hear a little bit about that later, I promise. You know I put some of that in here. I work with multilingual and accent diverse data sets, so I'm really, really interested in AI. And I'm also a real person, and unless something goes really bad, I'd like to continue to exist in the future. So I'm really, really excited to see where we go sort of together as people. Other things I'm really excited about, I'm excited about human languages, why Birmingham is the best city, and seeing pictures of people's pets. None of this has anything to do with my talk, and for those of you who are watching on the video, you're safe, probably. But this is just a heads up that if I'm trying to corner you at drinks afterwards, it's going to be about one of those things. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stop. Ooh. So, just really fast, I've been living in England for about 12, 13 years. And you might, oh, yeah, you got here right when, yeah. So I'm reasonably well experienced with a specific type of disappointment. And for those of you watching on the video who don't live here, or those of you who are visiting, or perhaps in the far future you're watching this, things have been fine, and we're fine, and we just don't want to talk about it right now. But in order to minimize this disappointment for you, I thought I'd scope this talk and just go ahead and say what we're not going to talk about fast. So just in case this is new to anyone, the way generative AI tends to work, this is a vast oversimplification, is you get a data set, you put a model on top of it, you ask the model questions, and it'll kick out answers. We're mostly okay with that abstraction? I love the yeah, three of you are like, no, I'd be like, it's abstraction. We're just gonna be talking about the data set. So, do you know about this model? Maybe, but not now. And we're specifically talking about consent issues rather than the models or the outputs. We're gonna look at some examples and some requirements, but really kind of with a philosophical rather than an ethical look. Has anybody here been working in tech for less than 6 months? Cool. Y'all have already been through at least one hype cycle before. Fabulous. So AI hype is super weird. Hype is always weird, but AI hype seems so overblown and intense and dramatic and sort of tinged with these science fiction things. And I try and open with a couple jokes. I know it's not funny, be polite. And it's really hard to parody AI hype because of this idea called Poe's Law. And Poe's Law is this kind of internet adage that says, hey, if you're making fun of something on the internet, unless you add a little smiley face or a /s for a sarcasm mark, any parody of something is gonna get mixed in and confused with real adherence. And AI hype is amazing for this. I've got some examples of things that I've seen AI is definitely going to. These are just examples from the last 6 months. I had real screen grabs of examples and removed them because one of my examples was too gross to use the real example. Yeah. AI is here, AI is the future, AI is definitely gonna replace, AI is here to replace. I'm kind of hype resistant, but I keep seeing that AI is gonna replace work. I love my job, my boss is gonna watch this later, hey, I love my job, but this sounds okay. I'm not convinced, like my bestie is an electrician and I don't really see how that would work, but cool, yeah, AI is going to get rid of work for us. I've seen this bandied around a bit, and I don't believe it, but I'm listening. This sounds okay. And I'm, okay. Do you know what AI is going to get rid of? AI is finally going to free us from the shackles of those overpaid, overblown, overappreciated artists with their painting and their music. And because of Poe's law, I don't think that artists should be replaced. I don't think they're overpaid. But I've seen it again and again. People are gleeful. They say, way, we're going to replace artists with prompt engineers. I say, what? What? And the things that we're seeing AI pitched as, okay, we're going to get rid of work. I say, what? We're going to get rid of artists. I say, why? We're going to get rid of girls. And there's a whole field of AI companions and romance AI. And you say, Jess, this isn't legit, because that should really be gender neutral. And I said, yeah, but I'm not writing the marketing. And the people who are writing the marketing are extremely specific. And I don't know why I'm getting served this marketing sometimes, because this should absolutely be none of my business. Like, I'm not here to weird shame anybody, but like, y'all have a good day, because nah. Okay, AI is just gonna replace, that's not even a job. AI is going to go ahead and get rid of developers for us. We've seen this a bunch of times. If any of you have used generated code, it works perfectly, all the time, right time. Y'all very worried about being replaced? Nah. Juniors, they're scared though, poor babbies. No, don't laugh. Well, because if you haven't been through a hype cycle, this is scary. They say, oh, developer jobs are going to go away. I'm like, no, they said that, we're fine. And the thing that I find really exciting, and let's keep in mind that exciting is not always good. Exciting just means, ooh. Like, ooh, look at that car crash, or ooh, look at this upcoming election, or ooh, look at the wide world. One of the things that's the wildest about AI hype is that we're seeing the same people who are like, look at how this is going to change the world. Look at all these benefits we're going to have. Also selling us doom hype. AI is going to radically transform how we deal with the world. And by the way, it might kill us all. Sam Altman, who's now the head of OpenAI, previously best known for a project where you scan people's eyeballs for imaginary money. If you've got a better way to describe that, I'm right here. Was quoted, hopefully joking, saying, I was going to put on an American accent, and then AI will probably, most likely lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there'll be great companies. Which is great. There's a New Yorker cartoon about that. I like it. I don't like it. Famously calm and measured AI proponent Elon Musk. I really like this quote because this is equally true about bears here in London. Saying, well, you know what? There's some chance above zero that AI will kill us. And like, okay, that's technically true of anything. But if you're using AI in self-driving cars, you might want to leave that with your inside voice. And then, like, more seriously, we've got the signatories to the Center of AI Safety and AI Risk, which both of the previous gentlemen are. And this is saying mitigating the risk of extinction from AI, like very Terminator-y, should be a global priority alongside other society-scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. Cool. We're not doing a ton around those now, but cool. What's really exciting about being me is I've got a really appropriate scope. There's a decent chance that all those people are smarter than me. And even if they're not, I am joyously unqualified to assess the risk of these statements. AI could kill us all. I'd be like, okay. Yeah, just like bears. Y'all have a good day with that. I can't really tell you what the risks are like, But it just seems very, very weird to me that the same people are saying, buy my AI, give me 7 billion, trillion? Give me an imaginary quantity of money for my AI. By the way, it could kill us all. Feels a bit like a hostage situation. I might go ahead and say that both this positive, AI will free us from work, and this negative, AI could kill us like bears, is kind of designed to elicit a response. And this response of, oh, AI's this magical thing, really distracts us from real problems with AI now that are going to continue to calcify if they're left untreated. And there's a ton of these. There are people doing incredible work around bias, multiple different levels of bias in AI. There's a ton of people doing incredible work about the ecological impact of AI. And I'm going to keep my little footprint little, and I just want to talk to you about the scope of where data comes from in AI and how that works with our future competition. So where does the data come from? This question's really, really exciting because a lot of the big players, when they get asked this, they'll tell you where the data doesn't come from. They say, we're not reading your email to get this data. I say, what? Was that an option? And they're like, yeah, and we're not looking at your private browsing history. I'd be like, what? Why'd you specify private? But the folks who do tell us about where they get our data. So in my free time, I teach web development and JavaScript boot camps online for free. And it's great because you get folks who are just building websites for the first time, and they'll be like, look, I made a website. I'd be like, fantastic, where'd you get this picture? This is a cartoon mouse. That's so dangerous. They'd be like, I found it on the internet. It's mine. You'd be like, no. That's absolutely not how intellectual property works on the web. You cannot just find something online and then say it's yours. So OpenAI, their large language models, ChatGPT, use 3 primary sources. Stuff they found on the internet, stuff they bought, and stuff somebody gave me. I love this because the first one is exactly what I tell people not to do. The second one, I'm extremely chill with. And the third one is an excuse you would give the cops. A buddy of mine gave this to me. I don't know what it's about. This is the Llama. Oh, how cute, how sweet, Llama. Meta, not Facebook, did a really, really great, I'll post this if you're into academic papers about large language models. I'm fun at parties. And they were really specific. They said, you know what, we developed this training data set based on open sourcing guidelines. I'm like, that's a specific way to say a thing. And they get an overwhelming amount of their data from Common Crawl. What's Common Crawl? Common Crawl is a small nonprofit that crawls the web and then makes that information generally available. This is founded on the internet. Again. This is a really good article about it. Separate, come see me after class. I really like Common Crawl as a project. I don't think they're responsible for this, but all of these big AI projects are like, oh, you've been just collecting stuff you find on the internet? I would love to have it, thank you. And this is giving us a really fun and exciting future where people who make art, people who write, people who do things with their voice, people who make film, people who perform are being put in this fantastic, not fantastic, yay, fantastic like fantasy dystopia. More Hellraiser, Blade Runner than unicorns. Separate vibes, but we'll get there if we're not careful. We're making this potential future where people who make things are being pitted against models trained on the things they built. We're, as people who write code or make things or Talk Where the Internet Can Hear Us are looking at a future where we're being asked to compete with outputs created from our past work. And when I talk to people about this, I get the same questions again and again. And they're really, really good ones. Why are you in my house? Who are you? You're scaring my family, which is not really a question. And the big one I get is, well, what do you expect people to do? It's not illegal. It's not confirmed that it's illegal to just scrape the web. Do you expect people making these AI products to take slower, less profitable routes to get there? And I would really, really like to pay off my flat. I'm not allowed to steal, even though this would be an incredibly efficient way to pay off my flat. If I'm not allowed to, I don't think that we should be allowed. If the big AI tool makers are allowed to, I would also like to be allowed to. Until then, let's look at some quick examples of ways to do this that would maybe suck a little bit less. I work for the Common Voice Project. If anybody here is based in the UK, have you ever tried to call HMRC on the phone? Yeah, do you put on a little bit of an American accent when you read the number? Because I do. You know how speech recognition technology works 100% of the time, every single time, as long as you sound exactly like me? And not even then. At Common Voice, we make an open source speech corpus where we focus on language diversity and accent diversity. So right now, speech assistants work, when they work, in about 20 languages, and there's about 7,000 in the world. We've got, this is a lie, I'm so excited about lies. We've got 118 languages now, 125 next month. And the big thing I want to push is you don't have to buy this, you can just use it. We release all of this under a CC0 license. This is the most, I know this is very much showing my age, this is the most YOLO way you can do data. We ask people very nicely, would you mind donating your voice? Thank you very much. And then when they do, and they say, go on, use it, have a nice day. We know that great, big, terrible, imposing AI projects use it, but we've also seen researchers, and we've seen artists, and we've seen people do cool, weird things with it. And the temptation here to say, cool, we're done. The way we can solve consent in AI data is we can just ask really nicely, people will give it to us, and then we'll give it away for free. Yeah. We don't live in any kind of world where there are financial constraints, or people would have any kind of requirements for what happens to their data, so this should just work. I want to be very, very clear that I'm super positive about Wikipedia. I'm going to get like 3 things wrong, don't be mad. Wikipedia folks are very, very cool and very, very intense about getting this right, and I'm sorry. Wikimedia, you might be saying, oh yeah, they create a lot of data. So they've got the Wikipedia writing, where people create original CC by attribution, right? Licensed material. They've got Wikimedia Commons, where they gather material under its original license and redistribute it under that license. And then they have additional license and ruling around that. And you might be saying, yeah, but you said we were going to be talking about AI data, and this is explicitly not AI data. And it may be that they didn't decide they wanted to be AI data, but they're AI data now. Wikimedia has taken a very, very different approach to that. Common Voice has said, yeah, just have this data, have a good day. Whereas Wikimedia has said, you know what? We're going to take a very, very formalized licensing system. We're going to create a patchwork of the different rules and different regulations that exist now, and we're going to operate trying to free this information under this patchwork of rules. I love this. This is much less YOLO, but it's very, very regimented and very, very interesting and grows with the project. You don't have to just give everything away. I also love data trusts. Yeah, they're not around in the way we'd like to see yet, but data trusts are based on the concept that there are stewards of the data. So I'm going to go around to all of you and collect data, PIN numbers, birthdays, normal stuff to ask at a social. And then afterwards, I'll act as the guarantor of that. I'll ask the shepherd of the data in a data trust. You'll have a board or a series of people, or in an individualized data trust, the theoretical opportunity for people to set their own requirements for their data. There's the Data Trust Initiative based here in the UK that's doing some really fantastic pilots in this. So they're saying, cool, we want this data to be distributed in a safe way. We're going to put people in charge of making these decisions. This isn't why I like the Data Trust Initiative, but I will point out that the University of Birmingham, I hear it's a really good city. Really, y'all should visit. PHP UK was talking about maybe doing the conference there next year. Definitely helps make this better and better. Data trusts allow governance boards to grant and revoke access. This is sort of a government for collected data. And this is really, really exciting. And while CC0, interconnected license of data, and then data trusts all give us fantastic open source models for data, we also, Mozilla policy, OpenAI datasets, always open, always open. Me as an individual, we can literally just pay people instead of stealing their data and throwing it in big buckets of data. Like, I absolutely promise the people making giant AI tooling have not forgotten that paying for it is an option. These aren't the only ways to build data sets around contributor consent, but I am the only thing between you and the social. We've looked at a If you're watching this on the video, there's not a loud beeping sound, there's no terminators, and everything's fine. So really the core of what we've looked for, the options we've looked through are we can ask contributors for their data and make it freely available. Y'all yell the word when you see the word in common. We can ask for and offer contributions on a range of existing licenses. We can ask for contributions to be included in data trusts, or we can ask if we can pay people money. But the big thing we can do in all of these things is ask. Taking it, because it's easier, is a little bit absolutely ridiculous. So we're not there yet. What would we need in order for this future where people don't just take our data exists? If you're launching your own project, launch your own projects. There's funding, it's great. See me after class. You'll need to have a governance model, an idea of how you want to hold the data, and some internal structures. You're going to want to present that to the world in a way that communicates and say, hey, this is a CC0 license. Hey, this is a data trust. But if we're existing in a competitive landscape where you've got an AI project that's ethically sourcing all their data and they're paying for it, and then somebody else who's scraping that from them, that's not competitive. At some point, soon, please soon, we need regulation and oversight. And community enforcement as well, the ability for individuals who write the code. It's the only community enforcement thing I could find that wasn't really scary, I'm sorry. All of the images are CC0 licensed, thank you Wikimedia, so it was this or old war pictures. Oh no, oh. Sorry, I just saw unicorns. We need some kind of community enforcement, the ability for us as developers to say, cool, we're not going to use, or we're not going to pay for, or we're not going to have our boss pay for projects that use scraped data. We're not going to contribute to projects that use scraped data. We're not going to engage with, and we're going to reject things that are not good for us and not good for real people. We're all real people, but like people with less technical power. It's a wild, wild, audacious thing to pitch in 2024, but it's some way you kind of have to have hope. AI looks, even without it's coming to kill us in our beds, it's going to get us kind of vibe, stuff seems a little bleak on the AI front. Having some kind of hope that there is a better option for this, there are consent-laid ways, and we do have options for what could happen to our data, seems necessary in order to continue to make steps forward. But hope is beautiful. Hope is so great. Hope is fantastic. I would love to see you wed hope with righteous determination. People who are scraping this, people who are taking this data, people who are taking your code and selling it back to your boss's boss for you to compete with, are stealing from you. They're stealing from your future, and they're stealing from other people even before they've learned to join us. There are so many ways to be angry in productive ways. I'd be so excited to be angry with you. Oof. Thank you so much.